This is my recap of Southern Charm, Season 1, Episode 1, Peter Pan Syndrome. So this is the premiere of this new show. It's a very typical premiere. We meet all of the different characters, the cast. We learn a little bit about them, and we kind of get to start seeing them interact. The way I'm going to handle this first recap is to just talk about what I think of each of the characters and a few details about them. So the cast is made up of 6 people. That's 4 men and 2 women. And I can totally tell the women apart to begin with, so that's great. And I'm going to start with them. So Cameron is a female. She's blonde. Her appearance and her general demeanor seems to be very typical of the people in the area. This is set in Charleston, so this is, she wears the dresses. She's got the long blonde hair. She doesn't have as much money as it seems like the rest of the cast does, so that does kind of set her apart. And they describe her as being like a guy. And I'm never a fan of assigning certain characteristics to you because of gender, because there's all different kinds of women, there's all different kinds of men, that whole deal. But anyway, that is how they describe her. The other gal is Jenna. She has brunette hair. It's cut real short on the sides, not quite shaved. It's longer on the top. And they describe her as not being the typical Charleston woman, so whereas everyone else is wearing, say, a dress with a flower pattern, she's wearing an oversized tunic and like shorty shorts. There you go. Now when we get into the men, we have Whitney, who lives with his mother, is a filmmaker, musician, and it's totally worth it to head over to IMDb and to look up his movie that he talked about, which is called Ultra Suede. One word. It's a Halston documentary, and read the reviews because they are brutal. There are 4 of them, and the first one is obviously like a friend or someone who really likes him, and the other 3 are super mean, and they talk about how the maker of this movie is this pampered, pretentious jerk, and that's probably why he's on the show, is because apparently he did a really bad job, and I'm hoping I can like hunt it down and watch it at some point. Next guy is Shep. He's a surfer. And that's all I know about him. He's a surfer. He likes to chase girls. I don't know anything else about his personality. He doesn't really seem to do anything. He doesn't work as near as I can tell. So not very interesting to me so far. If all he does is chase women, I don't have any interest in watching that. Now, opposite him is Thomas, who has a lot going on. Thomas was a state treasurer and then was arrested on dealing cocaine, apparently, and he's now a convicted felon. He went to jail for about 7 months, and he just stepped down as state treasurer. Now he's trying to get back into politics, and that very much describes who he is. He's confident, he's real charismatic, he's got like a winker, if you know what I mean, and he's got this little slick edge where I don't quite trust him, and I certainly wouldn't recommend anyone date him because he is completely a player. And he has a lot of money because he put together kind of the first episode's event, which is a polo match where he plays and a big party afterwards. Now, I know a little bit about polo. My parents used to have a house in Santa Barbara, and we would go up there a lot. And I went up with some friends once, and we decided to just stop in at the Santa Barbara polo fields. And they were doing a practice and said, sure, go around the corner. There's a practice field. And when we got out there was a nurse on call, and she worked at Westmont, and I worked at Biola, which are kind of sister schools, and we started talking, and she explained the whole game to me, introduced me to people, and it was super awesome. But what I will say about polo is you need to be super rich to play, like super rich, and it's really dangerous. So I am kind of impressed that he plays polo. It actually says quite a bit more about him than you would think it does. And the last of our guys is Craig, who is a lawyer, and as near as I can tell, he's the only one who holds down a steady job out of the whole group. I don't think he has as much money as everyone else. That's just my guess. And it seems like he's kind of in a little different league. He's by far probably the most productive member of society and the nicest guy out of the guys there. But I'm interested to kind of see how this all fits together. And that is your cast for Southern Charm. So I look forward to chatting with you more.